Bishop Basil.
The bad one.
Oh my goodness, we didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
So how did it, first off, how did it feel when you were presented with the script, or you were invited to say, okay, sir, we'd love you to play a role that is contrary to everything that you believe or stand for?
I felt scared. Okay. I remember Philip, the PA to the great man of God, minister, the great minister of our message, Pastor Romeo Sai. He's the one that reached out to me and he told me, you're going to be part of a movie. I said, you stop playing those games. Which movie? And then, but he didn't tell me as what.
Okay.
He insisted again, and then this time, I remember Apostle was coming to South Africa, and you know, I was also coming into the country, and so we met, and then he's the one that, you know, shared with me, and he said, CW, even if I had run before, so they knew the weakness was our father. So he just came and said, CW, you're acting. I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But they did not prepare me for what acting.
Yeah.
I never saw that personality coming out. I thought I was going to be the good guy. All of a sudden, I had to die for the people. But it was a very scary role in the beginning. Later on is when I realized that someone needed to do it, because it's all gospel.
Right.
In order for you to have a message, there has to be good and bad. You see the good part of David, you see the bad part. You see the good part of every single person God has used, Saul, Paul. I mean, you can see all this diversity. So we had to be the bad people so that you see the bad and not follow it, while others are good, so that you see the good and follow it. So
right.
I like the fact that I was part of the platform.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So how did you come into character? How was it like to play Bishop Basil? Because you did it so flawlessly. First of all, let me ask, was that your first time acting? Because it was so good.
Yes, yes.
It was really natural.
I've always had a thing about production.
Okay.
Previously, you know, I don't like using those words. I'm just a little man. But I'm running a ministry as a senior minister.
Yeah.
Or rather a senior pastor, per se. Sorry about that. But when you really look at it personally, for me as a person, it almost occurs to you as these things you just keep hearing them until you are really called upon. And so many people would not really understand that that cast was not just a scene, it was a life.
Right.
Like you really feel the life of that reality, you can feel it. And it was not very easy for me. So I remember I had to take a lot of praying and just, you know, first of all, convincing my family, whatever you see, remember, I'm the good guy. I'm the good guy. I'm not a bad guy. But for the gospel, we have to do this. It was, I wouldn't say challenging. It's not my, I have always been into media, where I used to serve in church. I used to be in the media department before God brought me now to lead a ministry. I loved cameras and anything to do with cameras in our church. We ran a TV station like this, Spirit TV. So I was familiar, but I was not necessarily familiar with the acting part of it, but the preaching. Preaching and acting are totally different.
Right.
But as we came on board, when I looked at it, I've seen so many people coming and saying, man, the facial expressions, and I'm like, really?
Yes.
Really? You think so?
I do.
Really?
I do. I really enjoyed the movie. It was shocking because we've had conversations before, sometime last year, and you spoke very fearlessly about the church and the state in our conversation the last time. But when I saw the acting part, I was like, has he done this before?
Not really. Not really. I've just been exposed to a lot of it. I believe that the message where we are coming to, God will not only be revealed by the pulpit.
Right.
God said, go ye into
the world.
So that going is not just pulpit. But you see, the problem with us as the church is that we define that going as only the one with the microphone. It's you that's doing this production. It's me that's doing the acting. You know, it's the win-laws that are coming up with this different script. Because I've met so many people that have told me, imagine I got born again after watching you. I met like 3-4 people.
Wow.
I got born again. So you can imagine they
That's
never saw the preaching, but this going, and I think we really need to define that. A businessman can go and preach, a preacher can go and preach, a doctor can go and preach. It's not really the vocabulary. it's the lifestyle. So people are looking for the life of Jesus. And so if it's going to be manifested by production, if it's going to be manifested by this program, the goal is to go to the Word.
Right.
And I thank God we went to the Word.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So how did you come into the character, Bishop Basil? How was it? Because it was so everything that you do not stand for.
Really?
How did you? Yes.
I'm glad you know that.
Yes.
Can you repeat those words? But people don't believe me.
You played it so flawlessly. It will be hard to not believe that you're like that. But it was everything that we know you do not stand for. So how did you come into that character of a person who is deceitful, operates in the workings of darkness and all of that? How did you come into that character?
First of all, allow me to say big thank you to the Winlows. I think they would have many other people. I did not call them. You know, I know there are people that go and say, please, next one, invite me. I never saw myself being part of it, you know. So I just want to commend them for the good work they're doing, and that they could even think about Kenya, because we've brought a nation to the map. But for me, coming into character was I studied the character.
Oh.
I had to study the character, and I took some few days and I studied that character, and I was like, okay, so what does this character entail? And mind you, I did not study the character from bad people. I just studied the false prophets in the Bible.
Wow.
That's as simple as it gets.
Interesting.
I studied false prophets. I studied what they did. You know, you look at their doctrine. And so I said, Lord, okay, so if this is what you call false, and I'm coming in to display that, and I'm going to disrupt someone's destiny. So it's as easy as copy-pasting scripture. You know, it's just that the creative part of it becomes stronger, that there are people that know scripture, but they're not creative about facial expressions, body postures, and things like that. So I just copy-pasted the scripture, and then I added a touch of different emotions just to appeal to the people and preach the gospel. But it was, it took time. It took, when I use the word time, it's not that the Winlows had told me a week before. When I use the word time there, it's like I sat with myself for like 11 hours.
Wow.
And I was like, Lord, so this is everything I'm against. And of all the roles these people can give me, man. And then I remember I joked with Apostle. I say, Apostle, this time I think you should be the bad one. I say, Apostle Romy, man, this time I think you should be the bad one.
That would be an interesting twist.
No, I think you do a better job than me.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, but it was that a lot of studying the false prophets, looking at it from Prophet Suddenly 1 and 2, it was already captured in there.
Right.
So in as much as it was not easy, I believe there was already some few blueprints that helped me to come into the character.
Interesting. Interesting. So, you know, one of the things that stood out for me, this is the first time I'm hearing it, that you're learning about your character from the Bible. Because many actors, when you ask them, how do they come into character, they'll say, okay, I would like, there was one that was supposed to play a role of like, she had to go into a brothel. She had to play the role of a loose woman, and she had to go to the brothels, stay with them for a little while to see how the act behave. But this is a very interesting way to look at it. And I've heard that everything you're looking for is in the Bible.
Completely.
Yes, everything you're looking for is in the Bible. And this rather has come to life in everything you just said. I believe our viewers are hearing and learning from that. So talking about the scriptures now, our topic is balancing doctrine and lifestyle.